darling Laurie, thank you so much. Hey, thanks so much for making the time this morning to have a little chat with me about all things boobs, I guess. I feel the only thing that would really make me happy is if or happier is if you were actually here in person. You're an amazing inspiration to me as a breast cancer survivor, and as you know, this first book I'm dedicating to you. I found, standing alongside you while you were going through this journey, just opened my eyes so much to what was possible in terms of the human spirit. And you're just, as I said, an absolute inspiration to me. And so you were the first person I thought of when it came time to start thinking about how this book would come together. But what I was hoping that you'd be able to do, in lieu of you're not actually being in Brisbane to stand in front of everyone here tonight, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind just taking a few moments to talk about the circumstances that were around your diagnosis and your life situation at the time, and how that affected you as a mother at the time.
Right.
And now.
Well, first of all, Melissa, I'd like to thank you for, having me. And of course, I'd love to be there right now with you and all those women and just to soak up the energy. And I feel really, really honored that you're asking me to be here and that you're devoting this book to such a great cause and dedicating it to me. That's a first. It's so, I feel so honored to be a part of it. And look, my breast cancer story, I think it was partly just the love of my sister and then maybe some kind of divine intervention that it was even found. I wasn't of the age where I would be worried about breast cancer at all. I had 2 young children. I used to joke that I didn't even have breasts. But my sister was diagnosed, and she called me up, and she just absolutely insisted that I go and I get myself tested. So, begrudgingly I went, and I went to the Wesley Hospital there in Brisbane, and the people there are just so amazing. And it was actually through this fluke. There was an area that was ended up being benign. It was just a nodule, but because that nodule was there, they kept exploring and poking around and, well, let's look this and let's check. And it ended up that it was discovered that I did in fact have something there. And it was only through this last bit of testing that they did, because they did the ultrasound and the mammogram, and then they did the fine needle, and then they offered me an MRI. And when the MRI came back that it was fine, they wanted to send me home, and they're like, oh, well, we're happy with that. But it was Dr. Elena Mackey, who said, well, did you want to do a core biopsy? And it was one of those moments in life where you can make a decision one way or another, and your whole life could change on that decision. And I don't know why, because usually I'd be like, okay, if the doctor says it's fine, I'm just going to go and get out of here. But I don't know why. I just said, okay, yeah, let's do the core. And she said, okay, let's do it. And that's when they found it. So there were 2 excisions that I had, and then finally I had the mastectomy. And the final pathology came up that, in fact, like 7 centimeters, which is, quite significant portion of the breast had breast cancer in it. And it was like a stealth, couldn't be detected on anything. And the only thing that it showed up on was that core biopsy. So I do feel like there was something, someone, divine power looking out after me, as well as my sister's love helping out. So
it's amazing. I still remember I was in hospital with having just given birth to Henry.
Right.
And you came up because you were at the hospital. And didn't say a word, I was just in the area. And I was like, oh, Laurie's come to see me. I'm just having some tests done. And you didn't breathe a word of it. And it wasn't until later that we found out. And so if you were here tonight, what message would you have for the women here and for their friends about involvement in the project?
Well, look, I would if I was there tonight, I would tell the women there there's two good reasons to get involved in this project. The first one is that it's an absolutely fantastic cause. So, breast cancer kills so many of us. It affects so many people, so many lives. I did just lose my best friend, Caroline Reed, to breast cancer 6 weeks ago. She was a very young woman. And that in itself is a good reason to get involved in this project. We need more money. We need more research to go and to find something to stop this disease in its tracks. The other reason, I think, being involved in it, you've created kind of a fun way to get involved with this good cause, and creating something that women can do to leave sort of a memory of themselves behind as well, and a memory of themselves as mothers for their children. And women often don't want to be in front of a camera. They'll sneak to the side, or they'll say things like, "Oh, I don't have my makeup on today," or "Oh no, we're very critical of ourselves, so we might not feel that we're good looking enough, or we're thin enough, and not now, and all these other things." And maybe we're thinking we don't look like, we live in a celebrity culture where everybody, looks fantastic on camera. But the reality is that your children and your family love you for who you are, and they will appreciate having these photos of you and of them if they're involved in it. It's a family portrait. I mean, I've told you before, Melissa, my father's been gone many years, and I pull out those photos of him still to this day. And I don't have that many of him, but the ones that I have, I look at, and it makes me feel connected to him. It makes me feel closer to him. And it's really, really important to me, and I can't imagine not having those photos. And really, that's what your children, would want, your
Yeah.
family would want. They would love to have that.
Yeah. Laurie, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. It's been so lovely to see your smiling face, and I miss our cups of tea on the back deck. And and I wish that I could give you a hug, and thank you again so much for
Melissa, I wish I was there, and I'd love to have a drink with you and just hang out and help you celebrate this project. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be a huge success, and I look forward to participating in it in any other way I can from now until it's published. So thank you, and everybody just enjoy the beautiful evening there in Brisbane.
Thank you. Thanks, Laurie. See you later.
Okay, thanks, Melissa.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.